Thanks for coming to hear the Queer Down the Street. I am your Chasm, host, Vince. And with me, I've got the red and white wires from a set of RCA cables, your audio host, Josh. How are we doing this week, Josh?
Oh, I am fantastic. How about you?
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm pretty good. Got another little mini vacation.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what happens when like 4 people in your life get married in the same year.
Yeah, I just found out I have one next October that I have to plan for. So in North Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, down in North Carolina?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, one of ours was in Georgia. So I guess that makes 5. Wow. That was a lot of weddings we had.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully we're done for a while. But right now we are Queer Down the Street. We, Josh and I, what do we do here? We we choose one word from the 28 words from Wordle, and we talk about whatever the hell we can on them. This week, the words that we're choosing are coming from June 12th through the 18th. And if you want to see those, you can check out our Twitter on at Queer on the ST. It's going to be a smooth sailing episode.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I guess I'm going first, which means that the bumpy road is just starting. Okay, so my word this week that I chose is panel. When I started thinking about this word, I started thinking about all the meanings. Like, could I have done like, I don't know, ceiling tiles or something? Is there something interesting there? No. But I thought about panels like at shows. Like a Comic-Con or something where you got a bunch of people up there talking. And that just got me thinking about talks just in general. So I was thinking that we could sort of go back and forth on this and say, like, what is our favorite panel or talk that we've ever heard distilled down into a little short segment from memory. Mine specifically is a TED Talk, and I asked you not to research this because I want it to be from memory, but maybe that'll sort of give you a range of what I'm looking for here.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Okay,
so how well are you prepared for this? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first. I have an idea, but I need to expand on it a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you some time. My pick for this one is, have you ever heard the word vexillology, Josh?
Maybe. It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it means. So
you're a design guy, so I expect you'll like this talk. It's vexillology is the study of flags.
Oh, okay.
And this is my favorite talk that I've ever heard anybody give. It was a TED Talk by Roman Mars, the host of the podcast 99% Invisible.
Yeah.
And the sort of premise of the podcast is like design and like architecture stuff that, if done right, will be invisible, and his talk on flags just stuck with me for years now. There were 5 tenets to it, 5 rules, and I can't remember all of them, but the design rules for flags is it has to be noticeable. It has to be easily drawn on a 1x2 rectangle. Right. So you think of really great flags out there, right? Mm-hmm. You got France, just the simple design, even he was talking about city and state flags.
Yeah.
But Chicago has a really great flag. It's light blue bars on the top and the bottom with 5 stars in the middle.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And I'm sure that you can appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
The next one is, I'm just doing these from memory. I'll look it up afterwards, but the next one is no words. So you think about I don't know, the come and take it flag is pretty iconic in its design, but if you have to say what you are trying to say, then it's kind of ineffectual. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that it's funny because a lot of the state flags end up falling into how bad these are. Like the New York state flag, it's a flag that has 2 flags printed on it.
Yeah.
And it's got a banner that says Excelsior.
Yeah.
It's like pretty boring, pretty bad.
I'm a fan of, I think one of the states that does the best is California for the flag.
Mm-hmm.
The bear.
Yep. It's recognizable, but it does have words on it. So
it does, yeah.
I think the one that like really epitomizes them from state flags is Colorado.
Yeah.
Right. Like people absolutely love that flag. You'll just see people wear the Colorado flag on t-shirts and hats all over the place, even if they've never lived in Colorado.
Yeah.
Let's see. The next one that I can remember is no crests.
Okay.
So again, just like the New York flag, right? Like it's not a designed flag. The 2 people standing there with the 2 flags and Excelsior, that's the crest of New York.
Yeah.
And it is too busy.
Yep.
It's too, you can't reproduce it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the flags were designed to take the same idea that a good logo could, give somebody a piece of paper and 10 seconds to draw out your flag. And if they can do that, it's recognizable enough. It means it's going to work long term in every scale for brand recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I thought you would sort of like this topic, because
I do.
It's good. It's just good design aesthetics.
Yep.
Boy, can I remember anymore? There were 5 of them. That was 3, right?
Yes.
No, I don't. I think that's it for me. But it's just something that's really interesting, and I've seen a lot of like redesigns of flags in his TED Talk, which I really recommend going and looking up. It's Roman Mars, and it was one of the mainline TED Talks, so it's not a TEDx. It's actually like well put together and really worth a listen. But I decided that I'm gonna show you a couple of bad designs.
Oh
man, I hate that Google doesn't let you preview images anymore.
Right.
All right, so there is one for Milwaukee.
Where did you put it?
You'll notice just how bad this is.
Where'd you send it?
On Discord.
On Discord.
Where on Discord? In the mod channel in our Court on the Street Discord. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know why Discord defaulted to there.
I don't either. God, yes, that is horrible.
Right. So like that's what I'm talking about. Like if you can draw it on a 1x2 rectangle, like can you draw this?
No.
Wheat? It's got a flag in the middle of the gear.
Yeah.
A good flag right there that you can't see.
Yeah. So
it's very funny.
Yeah, that's so bad.
I'm trying to find the worst offender real quick. It's Pocatello, Idaho. This is a popular one to be redesigned because it's atrocious. And people are constantly trying to get this changed. Actually, Milwaukee has been changed based on my Google search.
That one is bad. Oh, man. That's all words.
So bad. It's got a copyright and a trademark symbol on it.
Oh, actually, this makes me think of a good idea. I don't know if I told you about this or not. Do you know MVHS, the new health system that's going through here?
Nope.
Oh, well, MVHS is a Mohawk Valley health system. They're kind of like a big network of everything. And they haven't even become an actual thing yet. Like they're not fully up and running. Like the hospital's is still being built.
Yeah.
But they've already redesigned their logo.
Already redesigned it.
Already redesigned the logo. So,
hilarious.
Here is their old logo.
Okay.
And here's the new one.
Did this really need a redesign?
No, because nobody knew what it is anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I guess it was smart to do now instead of, after when people do know what it is, but it's just bad. They tried to break it down.
Yeah.
So like the green is supposed to represent the agricultural like presence in the Mohawk Valley. The purple is supposed to represent the Adirondack Mountains, and the blue is supposed to represent the Mohawk River. And I'm like, that's cool, but nobody knows that that's what they're for. And it's horribly unbalanced. Like that is just not that isn't a logo that transfers well.
Yeah. You can't center this logo.
No.
In any direction.
No, that's horrible designed.
Rough.
And then Slocum Dixon also just redid theirs, and so this is their old one.
Which I never really got this logo to begin with, but
I don't really either. But it's memorable, you know. Like it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense just looking at it. Like I get that it's an S, but like past that, I'm not really sure. But at least it's memorable. That's the new one.
Oh God, I know you've shown me this before. That is.
That
awful.
Just looks like
just a triangle.
Yeah, that looks like something out of clip art. Like I don't.
It's so bad.
It's just I don't know, but that's the thing that makes me think about them. Like when we're talking about the flags, it's like, you know, a good logo has to be. You got to be simple. You know, like the Apple logo. Like people confuse them, like a logo needing to represent a company, and a logo just needing to be a face. Like it's just supposed to be the face of the company and recognizable. It doesn't necessarily have to tell what it does. Like what does a Apple have to do with computers?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's memorable. And like they have the bite taken out of it so that at scale people realize that it's not like a cherry or something. When it's like scaled down really small, like it works because it's simple, and you can ask somebody to draw it from memory in 10 seconds and they're going to get pretty close. So I think the flags taking that same approach is cool.
Right. Yeah, I think that's okay. I just looked it up. The 5 design principles of flags that he talked about in this talk. One is keep it simple. So that's what I was talking about.
Yep.
You know, should be able to be drawn 1x2 rectangle. Use meaningful symbolism. That's I think one that I missed. Like
like the bear for think of California.
Like the bear, or even the, you know, United States flag. Like it's the red and the white mean something. The blue means something. The stars are for the states. Like you know, kind of what everything means.
Yeah.
3 is use 2 or 3 basic colors, which is good, but that's also funny because there's a flag that I know that vexillologists love that breaks this particular principle. The Seychelles Islands. It's like 5 colors sort of radiating out from one corner. So I think it's like blue, yellow, white.
Oh yeah,
green and red.
Kind of looks like a sunburst.
Yeah. And it's an awesome flag. People really love it. But it's sort of, so these aren't, you know, hard and fast rules. They're principles.
Yeah.
4 is no letters or seals, nor no lettering or seals. My God.
Yeah.
And then be distinctive or be relatable. So avoid duplicating other flags. But, you know, the Nordic cross is a good design principle. So if you're somehow related to, you know, Scandinavian countries or something like that, a Nordic cross is a good choice for a flag.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's really cool. I love when people distill down a topic that they have like deep knowledge into simple rules like this.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's definitely something I wouldn't have dove into, but it's interesting to think about.
Yeah. I think that's about all I have for, you know, my little trip down memory lane on this TED Talk that I listened to twice.
Oh.
I mean,
well, he must have really enjoyed it then.
He's a very good presenter.
Yeah.
So how about you?
This is going to be great because we had a talk about part of this last week. My most memorable one is actually going to be one I watched about 3 years ago, virtually, and it was with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
And it was his panel or talk on how to make 64 pieces of content in a day. The number one biggest problem is like people get overwhelmed and they don't think they don't start because they don't think they can finish. It's like,
Mhm.
well, there's no way I can make all this different content because I don't have enough time, so they don't make any. And he breaks down like, you know, he manages multiple businesses. He has a bunch of people working for him, but he has his own brand that he built. Like, you know, it's his brand is its own entity. And he breaks down how he's able to make all these different pieces of content in it. And how you can repurpose things, and people don't really think about taking something and making it into a ton of different other little things, and how that's still different content because it's on a different platform. It's people consume things differently in different places. So he breaks it down and like how it can be easier for people to achieve that and scale their presence by just repurposing things. So I know he talks about like screenshotting like a tweet. If you make a tweet and it's something good, I'm sure you may have seen it. I don't know if probably not. You don't frequent Instagram very much. But like screenshotting a tweet and then posting it on Instagram as a picture. So like you can tell that it's from Twitter. So it also cross pollinates and sends people there. But then, you know, it's also like a picture. And instead of it just being words and a post like it was on Twitter, you can see like if there's engagement on it or stuff already in the screenshot too. So it makes people wonder. So I thought that was, you know, a cool way of introducing some of that stuff. Taking like, I'm sure you know for the show you write notes in your phone. Taking a screenshot of like notes of ideas and things you have and using that as a picture to post, making lightweight memes. I'm just not being afraid to have fun with stuff. That was
trying not to get in your own way.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be an all-day process for you to get this thing. You can pick one scheme and just branch out into all these different little things. You know, you make that one tweet, you screenshot it becomes a piece of content for Instagram and Facebook. You write a little bit of copy with that, post the picture on LinkedIn with that copy. It's a post on LinkedIn. You know, you record a little snippet of you talking for 15 seconds on whatever that tweet is, and you post that on Snapchat. You know, just these little things where you can break down 60, you know, maybe 64 is even a lot. It's possible, but you can break down something that you were afraid to start into 20 or 30 little pieces of content in a half an hour. So that really spoke with me because a lot of people are just afraid to try. And that was one of the things I was talking with my cousin recently about is, you know, everybody has this perception that the driving focus is money, but I don't necessarily know if it is in every situation. Like marketing, yes, has its ins and outs and different facets and things that you don't know. But most marketing is kind of general knowledge, and even more so with our access to technology. So people they're coming to you because they don't want to waste their time trying to do it themselves.
Yeah, right. They would rather have someone else have their finger on the pulse than
so you can
put in the work to do it themselves.
You don't have to be cheap because they're coming to you. Like you don't have to be like, well, they'll just do it themselves. They won't come to us because we're too expensive. Like that's not the case. Like, yes, maybe some, but most are coming because they realize that they can spend the money and have somebody else do it and then spend that time doing something that's going to grow the business on a different front.
Yeah, not what the thing isn't always what it looks like.
Yeah.
One of the shows that I really like, You're the Worst, the dude is a writer in it. And every so often someone will be like, why are you just like hanging out at the bar? And he's like, this is writing. And like, that's a funny, like kind of flippant example, but it goes to show like you write, or authors write based on their life experience, right? And marketers market based on their knowledge of trends or of, you know,
other
the public
people's life
in
experiences.
General. Yeah, exactly. And not even just your job as a marketer is not to draw a pretty picture. It is to know where to put the message for it to be most noticeable, most useful.
Yep. Which is why you see such huge shifts in like design culture. So like Swiss design is just on another level. It's very simplistic. Like I draw a lot of my design tendencies from that style. It's very like bold color punch, like whole block of color with another block cut out of it. Lots of text going vertical or horizontal.
Yeah.
The text uses texture to break up areas. Like there's just something about it's Swiss design that's very appealing to the eye versus some other places that are just very overpopulated. Things don't have a lot of space to breathe and it's congested.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not your only job, but you do have to make it look appealing. And that's the thing, is those two things go hand in hand, which is the reason why someone would hire you to do it instead of just trying to do it themselves. It's a lot of thought, a lot of work to put into something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So that was probably I'm sure there's more into it, but that's like off the top of my head, the most memorable one that I think stuck with me. I mean, it's tough because a lot of the stuff that I watch reinforces the same stuff because it is mostly focused on design, so things bleed together. But this one was one that I like. I remembered the title of it. I remembered the the setup of the stage and watching it and hearing them talk to people and just explain that we're also entering the age where things don't have to be perfect again anymore. Like when everything was produced by media agencies and Hollywood, there was this real sense of polish that had to be there or you were just kind of laughed out, Whereas with everybody having instant access to things with their phone, having things that are shot off the cuff is more acceptable now. So doing that little 15-second talk into your phone about a topic and then blasting that to all your social media, it's huge. And you never used to be able to do that before. So like you can run something
it's
from the power of your phone now.
Yep. It's the shift of celebrities going from being inaccessible to being relatable. I recently listened to this thing about Tom Cruise, right? Are you familiar with the Tom Cruise like Oprah incident?
Oh, I want to say I just saw something about this. It was you're gonna have to refresh my memory, but I know I just watched. As soon as you say it, I'm gonna remember it.
Yeah. So the popular memory of this, the way that this thing has lingered in the zeitgeist has been that Tom Cruise is just like jumping up and down on Oprah's couch, just like yelling at her, trying to convince her that he actually does love Katie Holmes. And it was this weird like confluence of errors because it was at the time when celebrities were making that transition from being unobtainable to being relatable.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise goes on Oprah and Oprah's just like buttering him up, hamming it up the whole time. They pre-selected the crowd to be like Tom Cruise super fans. So he's getting into it. She talks about this event where she really loved his enthusiasm on it. She was like, I really loved it. Like when you jumped up on the chair and yelled, yeah, you go, girl, or something like that. So like the whole time, the energy in the room is going crazy because these, middle-aged housewives get to see Tom Cruise in person.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is feeding off of it. Oprah's egging him on, and eventually he like jumps up on the couch. He doesn't like jump up and down or anything. He just like jumps up on the couch as a callback to the thing that she had said like 5 minutes before.
Yeah.
And what's funny is this is a sort of tragedy of this type of relatability because like this thing enters the zeitgeist. People take it, run with it, go crazy with it. Tom Cruise is so crazy. Can you believe he jumped up on Oprah's couch? But it's like so tame in retrospect. And this is something that the studio like dropped Tom Cruise for this like bad publicity. And that's why you only see Tom Cruise in like Running Man action movies.
Yeah.
Now, he used to be in Cocktail or Risky Business, but like once the studio dropped him, he only did those roles, which is weird. But that was a sort of non-success story of a failure story of this sort of thing that you're talking about. Like
I think we're moving in the complete direction away from like the days of Hollywood actors like the most desirable, or the ones that people want are just gone. Like there's still your every once in a while, your Zendaya people have been going crazy over, and what's his name? Tom
Holland.
Yeah. Like they've been pretty big.
Zendaya's boyfriend.
Yeah. But like the other than that, all your social media influencers are much more sought after in the way that, your traditional actresses and actors were once. And I think it's because of exactly what you're talking about. Like you aren't learning what they're when they finally decide to come out of the show. You're growing with these social people. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing way more of their life than you ever did before, which can be a good or bad thing. In like example for a bad one, this is crazy, and I don't know if you would have heard about this at all, but do you know who Amaranth is?
Yep.
Okay, so obviously she was kind of like the queen of the Twitch females, and everybody kind of gave her bad rap because they were like, well, you're just using your appearance to sell stuff. But in reality, like, she's super intelligent. And she's just playing the card she was dealt very well.
Yep.
But just recently she posted something that she had a stalker, and not like your traditional, like just a fan that is waiting, like knows where you go get coffee and is kind of trying to find you. No, this guy was from Estonia or some foreign country.
Oh.
And he told her, like, he sold all of his worldly possessions, his house, his cat, I think she said, everything that he had, and just brought clothes and a saxophone and moved to the US.
The fuck?
Yes. Moved to the US in Austin, which is the city where she lives, and would stream himself every day trying to find her, like find where she lives. And it went on for like 44 days. He finally found her house and was like outside. And apparently the dude was like sending her videos of like him completely naked, like reenacting the like scene from Silence of the Lambs. Like he was just,
fuck?
Yeah. So like, how
does nobody do anything about this guy?
She said that like she had hired personal protection, so she had people there and like huge security systems and stuff. But she said it also took like over an hour apparently from the time she called 911 when he was out there to like them actually showing up. And like she had told them way before about it, like all the closest like local police station, they all knew about it. 44 days it took of him doing this. And like that's the kind of the horrible portion of it, is like he created such a huge false fantasy. I mean, we had it before with movie stars, but he knows the connection's even crazier because I'm sure he subscribes to the other content that she produces. So he's involved in a much more physical manner where he feels like, they're together.
Yeah,
because he's seen it all kind of deal. You know what I mean? So it's like that connection that you normally form with a stranger, because you normally have to be intimate with somebody before you get that. He got that as well. So like he's in love with the idea of her, how she looks, and then he's already seen what's behind the curtain. It's just a breed of super stalkers, and people are crazy.
At what point do you have to shut that off in like modern media?
Yeah, and I mean, look at take for example, God, this had to be 8 years ago, close to. I don't know if you remember hearing about her. Name was Christina Grimmie. She was a YouTube singer, had been on The Voice, and then a super fan stalker guy that was obsessed with her and wanted to be with her, found out that she had apparently started dating a producer or something, and just showed up to one of her shows and shot her outside, like as she was leaving the arena. And she's like, I think she was like 22. And it's just like, man, these people just get so obsessed with them. And it's like, I don't blame people for wanting to hold back.
Of course. You have to protect yourself a little bit some way, but when you're a streamer and you're specifically like her brand of streamer, like the lifestyle streamer, it's like hard to know where to draw the line. I mean, she's been successful for long enough that I'm sure she's sort of developed a strategy of where to draw the line, how to sequester herself, but still.
Well, she's just a very interesting person, and I never thought I would be so interested in like reading about her. And like I read like almost all of her tweets and stuff now, because like, you know, from the outside branding, she's just like you said, she's an e-girl who's taking the best advantage of her situation, but she's so much more. Like the way she presents herself, the things that she talks about, and like she's trying to help other women do the same thing. Like she's huge on investing, different stuff, and talking about, you know, how you plan for the future, and like how she wants to be done with the OnlyFans stuff and be like set for life. Like that's not her goal is to do it in long enough till where she's set for life. She wants to own a farm with a bunch of animals and stuff and just disappear off the face of the earth. Yeah. Like, so,
I mean, this is not anything new. There's this popular theory. I don't know if it's a theory. It's probably more like just kind of an alternate read on history. But basically, madams built the Western United States. Like brothels, a lot of times were out ahead of the rest of like society and culture in the Western United States.
Okay, that makes sense.
And without like the expansion of these women trying to, you know, stay on the outskirts of town. So moving, you know, putting their brothels on the outside, on the western side of town, like then that allowed another town to get built further west and sort of
push the
expanded. Yeah. So it's funny that that these women really lead the way in a lot of these things, but nobody ever really wants to. No, nobody ever wants to acknowledge it.
Yeah. No, I think it's good the way we're seeing Twitch, a really big upward trend.
Yeah. Like would Twitch be is popular without Amaranth or Sniper Wolf, although Sniper Wolf's on YouTube mostly, right?
Yes, I think it would still be popularized, but probably in a different way. I think this helped it hit a much broader audience.
I don't know.
I think you're still getting stuff. There's a lot of crossover. I just think that her bringing it in brought in a huge, I mean, her and other people doing IRL content is really, I mean, it's the biggest category on Twitch now. Like it's not even dominated by games anymore. So
no, I don't go on Twitch enough. So anytime I go on, it sends me to the homepage logged out. Right. It's always Amaranth on the front page.
Yeah.
Like always, never clicked on a link once. So it's not like taking, you know, cookie information from me or anything.
Yeah.
This is just what it serves because she's the most popular one.
Oh, yeah. She brings in a ton of people and a ton of people willing to spend money
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like there's events that draw more people, right? But like any given day, any given time, it's going to be her basically.
Well, I don't know. She's not like the top. They're just who she features. It's like XQC gets way more viewers and stuff. So like who they feature is not.
I always forget about him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I love seeing the upward trend, and I like seeing somebody in her position trying to help the ones that are coming after her. You know, like the women that have come into the space later than her, trying to set the pathway and leave a positive trail. And like, you know, try to explain to them how to set yourself up.
I've never remembered her name, but there's this girl on Twitch that does music streams that I really like. Her gimmick, the ways that I've seen her is that she like will listen to a song once and then recreate it from memory.
So it's kind of like the Dude cool. Or
yeah, sure.
What's his name? Marcus Veltri. I don't know if you watched him before.
No, I don't know who that is. I know the Dew.
They both have perfect pitch, so like they can listen to it once and replay it. It's kind of like that. Like they can replay it, but like they remake it. Basically, it's not structured exactly, but improvised. I guess is the best term for it.
Yeah. How did we get there? Anyway, the next question. I've been thinking about it. I thought it was an interesting question. Hopefully, you have an answer for it because I don't know if I do. What is a subject that you think that you are knowledgeable enough on that you could be on a panel about?
That is tough.
It is tough, right?
Because it's it's like you don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
we're
not
pretty.
like,
I think we're pretty humble, so it's hard for us to think.
I don't think I'm an expert in anything, but I think here's the thing. I don't think I could lead a panel by myself on any topic. I think I can add valuable information, input, and discussion to talks on design, marketing.
Sure. I know it's a tough question. Maybe? I should have said dreaming.
Streaming.
Okay.
Talking about
yeah, that makes sense.
All the different.
I was just thinking you were like
streamer.
Really, yeah. I thought you were like really into lucid dreaming or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the best answer for me is like tech, but I don't know. I'm not like super into stuff. I'm just more educated than the typical person,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Really rich vein of conversation, Vin. Good job.
Hey,
anything?
It was a good one. It was a good starting topic.
Yeah. Anything else come to your mind? Any questions you have?
I totally didn't think
applying to this.
You were gonna go this way when I saw you selected it. I was like, what is he gonna talk about?
Yeah,
I thought about like woodworking or something, like making panels. I was like, where is he gonna go with this?
No. I was maybe gonna talk about like web comics.
Yeah.
Like I guess comics in general.
Yeah.
Little bonus for that. Have you ever heard of Garfield without Garfield?
No.
Basically, people take Garfield comics and edit Garfield out.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw a meme of that,
and they're pretty funny.
A guy was like, he took a complete book of Waldo and photoshopped all the Waldos out of it and put it together and gave it to his friend. And he was like, "This is the world's hardest book of Where's Waldo," and it was because he wasn't actually in it anywhere.
That's hilarious. I actually have seen someone do that before, but they bought one from like a thrift store and re-edited it and then returned it to the thrift store. So you didn't get to see anybody's reaction to it or anything, but someone is going to buy that book for their kid.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything to add other than I've had two other panels that stick out to me, and then maybe it's just because I enjoyed them so much, but I think you were there with me. Maybe you weren't. When I met Randy Pitchford at PAX East, were you there for that?
Was that at a panel though?
Yeah, it was outside. It was before the panel, and then we went in for the discussion for Borderlands 2. So it was interesting, like sitting into a panel with a game dev team with somebody like Randy and then the writing team. It was really cool to like listen to how they think about games and their process for creating character and dialogue. I really appreciated it. So like that one I really liked a lot. And then also for Guild Wars 2 when I went for that. I don't know if you were there for that year or not.
I don't think I was there for that year, no.
But yeah, I sat in for the ArenaNet panel, and that's when I was able to get the game signed by all the dev team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking I must have gone to one in person when we went to PAX East, but I couldn't remember anything.
I think you were there for the one for Borderlands. I'm sure I was. They were talking about that and Aliens at the time.
I mean, I know that I was there the year that Borderlands 2 came out.
Yeah, then you would have went with me, unless you just went and did something else when we were in it, which is possible.
No, because now I'm thinking about it. I do remember waiting outside the panel. Yeah. I just don't remember the panel at all.
Yeah, I do. But I also asked the question in the panel. So that probably
that's true.
Is probably why I remember it more. I was more present.
The thing that I remember most from PAX East is playing the Elder Scrolls Online alpha.
Yeah, yeah.
And being like, oh, it's just Skyrim Online, not for me. and then sure enough, it was just Skyrim Online and it wasn't for me.
Yeah, that's understandable. I couldn't do it ESO either.
Yeah. All right. So I think at this point,
you ready for me to take over here?
I'm ready for you to take over.
All right.
Bring some polish to the podcast.
Fitting with last week's theme and choosing audio, this week I decided to switch things up and choose vinyl because that was so far from that, No, but seriously, that is the word I chose, but in the manner that you might think. It made me think about the old versus the new. Kind of a discussion of new and old mediums, pros and cons of each, and just how things have changed over time and preference, or what's the better word for that? I guess desire or like of a certain thing. So obviously with vinyl, that was a way of storing music or audio form, and then we moved into cassettes and then into CDs, and now we're in digital phase. And a ton of people collect vinyls.
Oh yeah.
They do have a bunch of pros, like they're said to have more warmth and keep the original ambiance of the music recording. But they're short as far as how much music that you can put on them. They can break, they wear down over time. So there's that. But there's something, I don't collect vinyls, but I have to stop myself from doing it just about once every year.
Yeah.
There's just something about tangibly holding like the album cover and a vinyl that's so appealing, because it's not like CDs sucked mostly, I'm going to say, because of the plastic cases. They were just,
yeah, sure.
They didn't look good. They were reflected, so you couldn't like see the artwork very well. They broke. So you had once you drop it once, it's got a broken hinge. Like, yeah, you can replace it, but that's just, I don't know. There's something just about holding that big piece of art and like the disc and having that tangible object that makes it so nice. Cassettes were kind of, I mean, technically they're better than nothing. I mean, there's not really a good upsides to cassettes except for form factor, which digital beats that by a mile. But there's no huge benefit to a cassette other than that it was small and you could take it with you.
I don't know. I even think that CDs have a better like form factor from the viewpoint of like footprint.
Yeah, because you can stack them, and
they just seem smaller, like thinner and wider. Seems like a better way to store things than thicker and smaller. Like, have you ever seen like cassette carrying cases? My parents used to have one.
My mom still has multiple. My mom has an Elvis guitar cassette case stand. So it's like you just. Yeah, the entire like neck / center section of the guitar is all like this rack for cassettes. She still has a ton.
I just saw a store that was selling like vintage cassettes the other day.
Yeah, I just don't know
which
if
I thought was very funny.
Off. Like,
no, I don't think so.
I don't know. The only way I see that taking off is like, I can understand in certain scenes that like the idea of like the iconic putting the cassette into the front of the beatbox, like a, beatbox or jukebox kind of.
Yeah, sure.
Boom box. That's the word I was looking for. Thing would do. I could see it
if you're
going that route.
I don't know if it's going that route, that like the tactile feel of putting something in, right? And I think it's going all the way back to 8-tracks. I saw a TikTok of this dude that made a Bluetooth adapter for an 8-track player.
Yeah.
And like that looked satisfying as hell. This big chunky thing just ka-chunk, puts it in the boombox and listens to it.
I think we might start seeing
that's funny.
Digital. I'm sure they probably already exist, but I think we prefer cassettes or 8-tracks before we saw that. Because it's like, it's more to the allure it gives you of having it. So we'll see. We might see them make like vintage looking items, like an 8-track, but it has a digital thing in it. So it's got a small hard drive and it plays in a digital boombox that looks like a thing, but you're just connecting a small storage thing in there with it on there. It's like the magnetic rolls and the 5 magnet heads to read the tape thing. It was a horrible decision. Yeah.
The other thing that I saw at that store that was selling the cassettes.
What?
The Mighty Ducks McDonald's toys.
Wow.
Do you remember these things?
I definitely do. I had all of those.
Yeah. Well, if you wanna have them again, there's a store up in Lake Placid selling them.
Oh, did you go to Lake Placid?
Yeah, the wedding that I went to this past weekend was near there.
Oh, gotcha.
So we just took a quick 20-minute drive to Lake Placid, walk around a little bit.
Did you go to Smoke Signals?
No.
Oh,
no.
It's unfortunate.
We went to Smoke Signals once. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We like other stuff around there a lot more.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good places there.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club
is our one go-to place. Actually, no. There's a sandwich shop, Big Mountain Sandwich Shop. That's the best place there.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, it doesn't like have a sign or anything. It just has a flag that says like 46 sandwiches.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to like find it. But yeah, it's very good.
So I also started thinking about like, obviously, and that's in the contents of audio, but we move into like different storage media. So you think back to like we had the beginning of old Molex style hard drives, then you moved into regular drives, and then we had thumb drives and little SD cards.
Yeah.
This one, I don't see. We've only made positive progress in this thing, and I don't see a reason for anyone to ever go back.
No.
Like, there's not really any cons that I could think of in that sense where I'm like, man, I really wish I had a floppy disk.
Nope.
The tactile allure of having that Oregon Trail on floppy is just something that I could never live without.
Even hard disks at this point are fading out. Like, the switch to flash storage is so good. Like the first solid state drive that you have on your computer and just how much faster everything loads. It's impossible to go back.
Yeah, never.
Impossible.
Could never.
On YouTube, I just saw a video like going back. Maybe it wasn't a video. Maybe it was just some YouTuber talking about it. But he was like going back to when flash storage just started coming out, solid state drives, and he went back to his old YouTube videos where people were debating whether or not it was worth it.
Yeah.
And someone was like, yeah, it's just not worth it to me. He's like, so what? You save like 15, 20 seconds every time or when you launch a program. And someone was like, 15 or 20 seconds every time you launch a program works out to like hours a year.
Yeah.
Days over the lifetime of that drive. Like,
yep.
It's so much. Not to mention, my computer boots up in 25 seconds.
Yeah, mine boots up in like 4.5.
Yeah,
but I have
it's crazy.
M.2 drive.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking like from pressing the button to like Windows settling in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I get to the login screen in single digit seconds. Sure.
Yeah. There's no possible reason to ever want to go back for those. And I don't know if I can really think of anything else that has that same connotation where there is no positives associated with the old version.
Yeah, I know.
It's like move into like clothing. It made me think of, for example, like, I don't know if you know about Doc Marten boots.
Yeah. Doc Martens or Red Wings even.
Yeah. But like original Doc Martens were made in England, and most of the ones, I guess, from like 2002 till now are made in Asia. And there's a difference in a bunch of things within the boot and how it's made. Apparently the old ones have like a felt insole that like conforms to your foot over time, or the new ones have like a foam insole which deteriorates and breaks down. Like the leathers aren't quite as versatile, don't last as long. Different styles of stitching, like it makes that old boot and the attention to detail.
I know that like people who are really into boots, because I was looking into Red Wings at some point in time. If I was thinking like if I could just get a nice pair of boots, get them resold, then it's fine.
Expensive.
They're expensive up front, and they're not that much cheaper to get resold. So I didn't end up going with them, but I like started getting recommended like boot heads, right?
Yeah.
Like people who really dig down into boots like that. And honestly, everything that I have ever seen is like just people picking at nits
Yeah.
Because there was a recent change with Red Wing boots that I watched a couple of videos on. Instead of having a full leather insole, they now have partial foam insole. And instead of having like the toe thing be like all leather, it has like a breathable layer. And people were, hating on it, being like, this is just terrible. They're still charging the same amount, even though they're using less material. It's like when you start getting down into it with boots in particular, I feel like this is how it ends up is these people just want to complain about things. Like they don't, maybe these boots last for 20 years instead of 25 years, but like it's not always bad that things are modernized.
No, not necessarily, but I can still see like the appreciation for the craftsmanship of the old ones. And like,
Sure.
like the reason I even know about it is I watched this TikToker. She does car detailing, but she also like loves Doc Marten boots. And one of her fans sent her a pair that she had that she no longer wore. And like she broke down and like went through and cleaned them. And they're from like, I don't know, 97, I think they were. So, they're pushing 30.
Yeah.
25 years old. Like, yeah, they're substantially old, but like just watching the attention to detail when she took them apart and cleaned them, and like you could tell she just appreciates them, and that I'm okay with.
Yeah, I'm on this subreddit called Buy It for Life, and there are some things that like I can definitely appreciate. They're just not made the way they used to be. Like thermoses, are like not as durable anymore. The old ones were glass, you know. They were blown glass. So there was basically an uninterrupted vacuum in them, which made them that much better for holding in heat or cold. But these days, all these stainless steel vacuum sealed containers, they're good, but because they're made of metal, they have to be molded and then a vacuum taken out and then sealed. And they're sealed with a glass bead. And anytime you have two different materials on one another facing that sort of thermal expansion and contraction, like that glass bead is going to fail at some point when the metal moves too much. So they just don't last as long as the old thermoses did that had a full glass insert.
That's the more you know. I would have never known that.
Yeah. It's interesting when you really like break. I like watching people talk about the things that they're passionate about, no matter what they are.
Yeah, same.
Hearing someone talking about a thermos is like endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, just that's the thing. You can be into anything. Like, there's intricacies in just about everything out there.
Yep.
So then we have like, I was thinking about electronics, and they kind of fall into the same wheelhouse, I guess, as music. For most of it, like obviously we're like retro games, people collect all the different consoles, and I think that just has more to do with the culture though than the technologies.
Yeah, right.
But I guess it's kind of the same, like I said, as music. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny because in electronics, like there's almost no, as soon as you get electronic, no. It's the analog to digital switch that gets on people's nerves, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's why people like vinyls. They're analog, so they're endlessly adjustable. Whereas digital, like,
starts to get noise.
What am I recording at? I'm recording at 44,000 hertz, right?
Yeah.
So that is the number of gradations in my tone. There's a finite amount as opposed to an album, a vinyl that has an infinite amount of variation.
Yeah.
And that's what gets people. It's the same with photography, right?
Yep.
Like on film, it's crystals that are aligning in certain ways instead of little squares that are, you have to have so many that it just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. That's why film just has that distinctive look, and you can feel tone and stuff like much more in a film picture than a digital, I feel like.
You can, yeah. It's just the positive to the evolution of it is that just the accessibility.
Yeah,
you know,
through the roof.
Like, sure, film feels nicer, it looks nicer, but the amount of work to make it feel that nice and make it look that nice is astronomical.
Yeah,
as opposed to
snapping a picture on
not
your
even
phone.
not even in comparison. Like you can take a negative, and if you make that negative from the film in the wrong way, that picture's just gone. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. It could have been the best. It could have been the best possible composition of where your subjects are and the lighting and all that. Could have been the best possible one. You could just lose it.
Well,
and watching wedding photographers set up, especially, just shows you how much better digital is versus film these days in applications like that specifically.
Yep.
Because they can just go around, set up their light stations, and just start taking test pictures.
Yeah.
Instead of walking around with a little meter, take a picture, actually look at what it's going to look like and adjust based on that.
Yep. Yeah. There's a ton of opportunity in that. I was actually just had this conversation with one of my friends too, because he does wedding photography and videography. And I don't know if we talked about this or not before. Like I've been asked to do a couple weddings. I'm like, I can't. Like it's not the style. Like I take pictures for myself. As selfish as that sounds, like I'm not taking, when I take pictures and I post stuff, like it's for me, not for the other person.
Yeah.
Like, I have the vision in my head of what I want to make. I'm not, but you can't afford to mess up at a wedding.
Oh yeah.
So it's like people get mad of like how much some wedding photography people charge, and it's like they're like, oh well, they have this much in equipment. Like that was always the argument I always heard and thought of when I was younger, was like, oh, they're charging because they have to make up all the money that they spend on the $25,000 or $30,000 in equipment. And I was like, that makes sense. And while that's true, I think the thing they can charge the most for is like they're just staking their name on the fact that they're not going to fuck up.
Yeah.
Like you're paying them to deliver something that has no redos.
No. Yeah, there's a lot more to it. 2 weddings that I've been to very recently sort of demonstrate what you're paying a good photographer for. The first one was like this girl. She was good. I'm sure she was a good photographer, but she was new. She had only been doing it for a couple of years, and his family was pretty unorganized, right? And someone else every time had to like wrangle up the people to get them in. The second wedding we got to, this dude was like big time. He had the stands, he had all the stuff. He had 2 shooters that he carried on his, shoulder straps.
Yeah.
And, you just speak up. It's the ability to tell people what to do, that you're paying for too. The direction,
you have to be just as good at directing as you are taking pictures.
Yeah.
You're in time constraint too.
Oh yeah. Time constraint you're paying for someone's experience, not just their equipment or time even.
I really enjoyed the one that the photographer that Matt had at his wedding.
Oh yeah.
Like she did a phenomenal job, I thought.
Yeah.
It was fun.
She had a different sort of she had a different sort of style. Like it wasn't like she wasn't ordering us to do anything, but she constantly kept us engaged and listening to what we needed to do.
See, I think that was part of the reason I enjoyed it so much. Her style worked really well for our personalities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because our friend group was like goofy and like we were cracking jokes and having a good time. So like it made doing those pictures even easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have an appreciation. I don't know if I told you this or not. I think I did. Yeah, we talked about it when I were at your father's. Like I have my dad's old camera now. And like,
oh yeah,
part of me's thinking about trying to get some film and learning how to shoot with it.
Yeah, why not?
I had asked him about it because he's had it ever since before I was born, obviously, but I'd always seen it, and I was like, that's one thing I would like to be put on in the will that I got. So he just gave it to me early. But like the heft on this thing is unbelievable. It's so heavy. It's an old Canon QL, and I mean this thing has to weigh at least like 7 pounds.
Oh yeah, just the body.
The body with a lens.
Okay,
it's got like a 35 millimeter lens on it. But yeah, I mean it's 5 to 7 at least.
Yeah, you had to be in shape to be a photographer back then.
Yeah. So, but there's something cool about that. Like, it's more about the idea that I don't know how to do it. That's intriguing.
Oh yeah,
like learning about an art form that I'm interested in, and like learning its history. I can see the appeal of that.
Yeah, I would recommend this YouTube channel, Technology Connections.
Okay.
He does a few videos on like film cameras and exposure and development of film from a sort of surface level historical view.
Yeah,
he's really interesting. It might be interesting for you to take a look into that.
I definitely will. So, do you have anything? I have one more little exercise after, but do you have anything in regards to this topic that comes to mind that you want to discuss?
Not that I haven't already discussed. I don't think. I mean, is
okay. Well, then I'll get into.
Not that we haven't already said no.
Okay. Well, then we'll get into my next little idea or discussion, and it kind of plays well into yours. So this is going to be a little segment of old versus new logos.
Okay.
So I'm going to send these to you, and you can look at the old versus new. They're side by sides. First one is Apple.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, see how in depth the first one was. It's like it was this old picture.
Yeah. Check out Isaac Newton here.
Yeah. Like, how can we incorporate that stuff? And like,
yeah.
So it was.
Were you the one that told me why the apple has a bite taken out of it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Then we have Firefox.
Oh yeah, Firefox.
You could see them moving in a certain direction. And tell me if tell me if there's any of these where you like the older better.
This current one is even an older Firefox logo.
Yeah.
The new one's even more simplistic. Yeah. I like this
the newest one
that's labeled current.
Yeah, yes.
I like that one the best. It's sort of overly simplified now.
Yeah, I think it also has to do with the fact that like that was what we were using. Like when I think of Firefox, that was the first one. Like I don't remember ever having Firefox when it was the Bird.
No. By the time there was the Bird, it was rebranded as a separate browser, Thunderbird.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have Starbucks.
Okay.
Which is basically.
It's just zooming in.
It's zooming in, but it also makes it much better, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's still too busy and it makes no sense, but it's distinguishable and it's way less busy than it was.
Yeah.
And then
I even think, oh no, that is the most current one. Oh, Google, yeah.
Google, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
I did read that Google and Twitter, their logo redesigns were because they were so popular. Mm-hmm. Like Google redesigned their logo to take up less data. So that they, because
pages load faster.
Pages load faster. And with the, a number of searches they're having done every second, even something as small as, whatever, a few kilobytes on their logo ends up being
substantial.
A lot of data that they're saving.
Yeah.
So all of their lines, it's either circles or lines in Google, and they're almost all, with the exception of the E, horizontal or vertical.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes it.
Twitter's the same way. The entire Twitter bird is made with circles. Just with inclusions or exclusions. Ratio. Yep.
Right. Let me draw with. Yeah. And then we have Nokia. Wow. Yeah. That one substantially better.
Is Nokia a fish?
I don't know. Maybe. But I would have never guessed that this was Nokia beforehand because.
Yeah.
Anybody that's listening, I would suggest that you type in Nokia old logo or first logo. It's like some weird looking fish coming out of a crest, like circular badge kind of deal. And I don't know. That's one for the
Nokia. I didn't know Nokia was Finnish. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, they're Finnish. So maybe it's some sort of Finnish fish.
It's supposed to be like a Loch Ness thing or something.
I don't know. They just really like their fish up there.
And we have Canon.
Camera Quanon.
And then I can't tell what that's supposed to be in there. It's like a person meditating.
I mean, it's a Buddha, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. But it's not like your traditional. I guess it is. It just has all the different arms out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Buddha has a bunch of different aspects.
Yeah.
Like, I think the one that made it into Western culture is like a fat dude.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily like he was an aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
This one's very popular. Amazon.
I didn't know about that original logo.
Yeah.
I do kind of like it.
It's simple.
Yeah.
But I also like knowing the meaning behind the new one makes it make sense more than just being the Amazon River through the A. You know what I mean? Like the large river going through it. Like I get it, but like I don't know, the sentiment of selling everything from A to Z with like the smile is just a better feel for me. So like, which goes against everything for me, because normally I would like that simplistic one more. But
it needs a bridge or something to make it readable as an A, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I read it as an A immediately, but I also knew the company. I think if you take the text away, I don't think like the Amazon.com underneath it. I don't know if you do read it as an A. So you're probably correct in that. And then we have Ford Motor Company.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell me, did you when you think of Ford, close your eyes, think of the Ford logo. Does the F have a little curly Q on it or
no? At the like on the little underside, like the under. Yeah. No.
You're wrong.
I know it does, but when I think about it, it doesn't.
I know.
Because here's why. Because it's bad in scaling.
Oh,
so it has to be a certain size for you to really see it.
I don't know. You can, I guess to actually see it, like it shows up okay on like even a logo or an emblem.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you don't necessarily see it. This is one of the things that people like base their Mandela effect theories on is that Ford sometimes has the curly Q and sometimes doesn't, depending on which universe you're from.
No, it always has.
Yeah, it always has.
It's just you're seeing it at a different scale.
Yeah.
This one's going to throw you through. Yeah.
People would rather believe in different universes than believe their memory's bad.
Right? This one probably going to throw you through a loop here. We got Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, man.
I didn't even know about that. Like Twitter was green.
It's made of flubber.
Yeah, like I don't know. I had no idea. I like the new one so much more.
Twitter. This logo is confusing because Twitter does have an I and an E in it, but this logo does the like.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, not good.
No, not at all.
Moving on to Volkswagen.
Yeah, I knew about this one.
Yep.
They were like, at some point, they're like, all right, gotta get rid of that swastika.
Yeah. Had to go. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
This one I didn't know about either. This is a Playboy.
Okay,
obviously so that's the new one's substantially better, but that's where the bunny comes from.
Yeah. The new one's just like more noticeable.
Yeah. This one's pretty funny. Got Burger King.
Yeah. I loved it. I like that jaunty little fellow.
I mean, it's appealing, but it doesn't look like a logo.
Yeah, I know. That's funny.
We can see you could see looking at all these, like the major shift in minimalism.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I wonder who like actually kicked off the shift. Was it Nike?
It seems like it, which I think we talked about that before, where the lady that works there drew it for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was probably, I would say it was just more the inspiration, like the introduction of designers. Oh, you know what? It just made me actually thinking about talking about that. Made me think of another panel I enjoyed. And it was Christo, who is the founder of Blind Design Agency. They're in California, and
Okay.
he's also like started they have a YouTube channel and thing called Future, but it's spelled without the E at the end. And it's just all about like becoming a better designer and becoming a better business person kind of things. And he did a interview with Marty Neumeier, who is like a pretty prolific designer, and he talked about his entire journey through coming up in like Santa Barbara and stuff as a small time designer in like the early 80s, and being there right when like the tech boom started to hit. So like Silicon Valley just started to populate with like Microsoft and like Sun Software and all these different places, and he was able to go to these companies because he went to the stores that they were selling them at, because at that time you still had to buy all your software and stuff at a physical location.
Sure.
And brand himself as the software packaging guy. Like he was the first one to say, no, this is all I do is software packaging. So he narrowed his field and only went after that. But because he was specialized in that, he could charge way more than if he could charge the same amount for one job that he could charge for 4 jobs when he wasn't specialized.
Yeah, sure.
So that was another notable one that I just thought of while we were thinking that stuck out to me.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, I recommend you watching it. I think you actually might really enjoy it. He's super good. I have his books in my cart to order because I want to read them.
It's funny how that sort of works. The sort of narrowing of focus, puts you in higher demand.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's kind of like the supply and demand effect. And if you can make people believe that your demand is up there, you can do it. So the Adidas logo, I think, is pretty cool. I like the new one, obviously, much more.
Oh yeah. The old one is too much. You can't have a picture of the thing that you're selling as your logo.
Yeah.
I shared with you the Twitter logo redesign. You see, it's all made out of circles, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I agree. This one is quite the drastic change. This is Shell.
Oh, wowzers.
I don't even know if you could call the first one a logo.
It is a shell.
I mean, it is, but
if we're being honest, all they did was flip the logo upside down, changed literally nothing else.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just drawn out instead of in a much better fashion.
It's funny to see the original logos from these older companies, like because they couldn't be in color originally.
No,
like Nokia couldn't have a color logo. It had to be printed in a newspaper.
Yeah.
Canon, I looked it up. It is a Buddha. It's a bodhisattva, which is a person who has achieved Buddha status.
Okay.
And that's what the company's named after. Kwanan is a specific bodhisattva.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is interesting. It's funny that Burger King's original logo is in color though.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't hold up.
How about this one? McDonald's.
Yeah. Not really much going on in the first one, huh?
No, and it's weird. Like famous barbecue.
Well, it was just like a barbecue stand, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you don't like when you think about what it is now. No, you never ask somebody what they associate McDonald's with. Are they ever going to say barbecue?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on people's like definition of what a barbecue is, because like barbecue food is a specific thing, but a barbecue is, if someone invites you over for a barbecue, it's just going to be burgers and hot dogs. Probably. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah. Definitely is a funny time. And then we got Pepsi.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I do like it. It's a good logo.
The new one?
Especially, no.
The old one?
The old one. I kind of like it. It has that, like, Coca-Cola hasn't really rebranded. It's
Theirs
still
is
just
too
like
much. The Pepsi one is just too much. It reminds me of like the Loki style text,
yeah, sure.
but it's just
I don't know.
Too much for what it is, I think.
Yeah, I think it seems trendy to me. If I think back to, I don't know exactly when Pepsi was founded, but like that reads to me as trendy for the time, the same way that the current logo does.
Yeah. So now I'm going to send two at the same time that I actually think I like the originals better because.
Oh yeah, the Nissan logo's way better.
So I understand why they changed it because it doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't. It's a better logo, but it doesn't feel like a car company to me.
No. The original is just a better logo. It brands it as a Japanese car, and I mean, I don't know. It does read as car to me.
To me, it doesn't.
Maybe it's because I'm more familiar with like Datsuns.
Yeah.
It's weird to see this logo say Nissan.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing this logo say Datsun.
Yeah, and then you got Lay's potato chips, and granted, it would change their packaging style a lot. I think, like how they would need to like lay things out and have it look, but it's just really bold and refreshing looking in comparison to the new one.
Yeah, it's funny to see. It's funny with all the people complaining about oversimplified logos.
Yeah,
that these two specific examples. We both like the simpler logo better.
Well, because a logo's key function is memorability.
Yeah.
If people can't remember it just by glancing at it, like, then it's not doing its job. Like, people get caught up in the logo having the full story of what the business is. I mean, I get like the pushback, like it's too simple. Like, you're taking away, everything starts to be muddied and look the same because there's only so many simple solutions.
Sure. Yeah. But, okay.
I mean, it's just I think it also forces people to think outside of the box in a simple manner more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. I like that original one.
I mean,
I like that so much. That's so good.
I don't dislike it, but it's not a good logo.
It's so good.
Like the shading and with like the different weighted lines makes it so terrible for printing and like scalability.
I think it would look awesome in print. I think it makes it look good or look bad in from like an aliasing perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not showing up great on my 1080p monitor.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some weird aliasing going on, and maybe that's why they did it, right? They're a tech company. They couldn't have a logo that didn't alias well.
Yeah.
But no, I like that original logo a lot.
I mean, it makes me think of 80s, but I don't know. I don't, but here's the thing. I don't particularly care for the current one either.
Yeah.
Like it.
The thing is, I don't particularly care for Microsoft as a company. Like, they make one mediocre product that you have to use because the alternatives are even harder.
Yeah.
But if this was their logo, I might get like Microsoft merch. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely do a lot of cool halftone stuff with it with printing.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool little segue into combining the two and talking about those different. Is there any logos that you can think of that stick out to you that have changed that we didn't bring up that you either like or dislike?
Probably. I know that we have talked off mic about the rebranding of Discord.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the logo, but the new font that they chose.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
So awful.
Yeah, not a fan at all. It's like Ninja's rebrand.
Yeah.
That one. That one got a huge upwave of things. I mean, people are up in arms about it, as they should be. I don't know if I can think of anything else that's really changed for better or worse that sticks out to me.
Oh, you know what? Google's new logos are pretty bad.
Oh, they're like their newest ones?
They're app logos. not
Yeah,
the actual
the
Google
whole, yeah, I know,
logos.
like the whole app suite.
Yeah, the ones that just look all the same.
Yes, like I understand they did it for the ecosystem, but it's no.
It's horrible. I would keep like all of my Google apps all in one folder, and now if I try to do that, I'm just going to click on the wrong one.
I think so. Coming across this, I think this might be one that I like the old one of better as well too. Verizon.
What's the new one?
So the new one is the word with the check mark at the end. The old one is with the red Z.
Oh, yeah. The original one. Oh, this actually what you just sent cuts off like the memorable part of the logo.
Yeah, the big check.
Yeah, I like that big check because you could just put that on something and have it be recognizable.
Yeah.
This check is almost too.
It just seems out of place.
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's no real good.
Well, it's just like Helvetica, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's can't really think of anything else that's changed recently. That.
Oh, did you see the new Kia logos? Oh, they're awful.
Really?
Yeah.
New Kia.
Yeah, just look it up. It'll be quicker for you to look it up. But it reads to me like K backwards N.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
not KIA.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, that's not great at all. Why?
I don't know, man. And then people. Oh, here's one that people are mad about, the Pringles logo. The new one. Yeah. I don't know. I'm usually like
indifferent.
I'm not like I'm usually indifferent. Pringles one is actually pretty bad though.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are just not great. That seem to be happening.
There's a new Nissan logo too.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah, whatever.
I hate the Meta logo. Not a fan of that at all.
Oh, there's no way I'm ever calling any of their companies Meta.
No,
it's still Facebook and Oculus.
Yeah,
there is no Meta in my mind.
That was just a sad way to try to escape PR.
Yeah, well, made them look worse.
Yeah,
they did the chemical company thing instead of Hoover Chemical Company. Now it's Occidental because they poisoned that playground, and it's like just
I
don't know, just go away.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Well, I think that's about it for me. I don't, unless you have anything to add for this.
I don't think so.
I feel like that was a pretty nice little discussion, though.
Yeah. This was a nice light one.
It doesn't happen very often.
More or less. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start to head out by giving some acknowledgement to Josh Wardle, the creator of Wordle, and Freddie Meyer, the creator of QotS. You enjoy this content, or if you play QotS on a daily basis, you can find him on Twitter at QotS, and feel free to drop him some of your hard-earned cash for all the hard work he puts into this. You can donate a coffee, and that money goes towards upkeeping the game. And apparently, he might be working on merch, which is kind of cool.
Ooh, yeah. Drop him some support. It's a free game. What are you, some sort of freeloader? You can find us on our socials. Twitter is at Word on the Street, QUORD on the ST. Instagram, we are Quord on the Street. Spell it all out. YouTube, if you're listening to us over there already, then you already know we are /Quord on the Street. If you are, subscribe, give us a comment what you think of our words, which words you would have picked. Whatever. You can review us anywhere you can review us. Apple Podcasts is the #1 spot, but if you're using the Good Pods app or Spotify, you can review. Please do that so that more people get eyes on us.
If you have anything more long form that you want to submit to us, whether it be a topic idea or suggestions for the show, you can email us. It's quordonthestreet@gmail.com. And you can feel free to visit our website. It's quordonthestreet.xyz, and that'll give you a link to all of our episodes, all the different platforms you can use it, as well as the ability to leave voice messages. So if you don't want to type something out and you feel comfortable talking, you can leave us nice little voice message on there, and we'll be able to listen to it.
Yeah, that would be cool. If we get one that's 2 or 3 minutes long, maybe we'll start doing like a listener section or something.
Yeah, it'd be cool to
play it at the end.
And you can get a hold of us individually on our personal Twitters. I'm Scuzzy. I am SKUZZEY.
And I am at V_C. Spell out the underscore. And with that, we're just going to ask you to help us
get the cord out.